So in this video we're going to be going over the two forces that we have picked for our game of Mythos that we're going to do. Yeah, we were going to go with something different than what we've normally played. Tarron loves his Wildborn, and I love when he takes his Wildborn because they're absolutely brutal and horrible and disgusting.
And I love them,
yeah.
But we are branching out. We are expanding as people, and we're playing toy soldiers with other stuff.
So we've both decided to go with a faction that we haven't played before, just to see how we'd go with the new rules and everything as well. So Tarron has chosen the Hidden Ones, which have a very Innsmouth feel. They come from Dunsmouth, to give you an idea. So same
legally
sort of
distinct.
Yes. So deep ones. They do the deep ones and whatever else, that sort of thing.
All fishy, octopusy.
Yeah.
Tentacly stuff.
And there's a giant crab.
And there's a giant crab.
Giant killer crab.
You gotta love a giant crab.
You should put a little crown on him. King crab.
King crab.
King crab.
Ah, good one, buddy.
And I went with the Priory.
Ah, okay.
Right. So first of all, one of the members has a flamethrower, so I figured we could try that out.
Awesome template weapon. And second of all, that guy's carrying a lamppost as a club.
A street lamp. A giant clay golem. The technology, the mystical arts on how to do it and create it have been discovered by this group. So it's led by rediscovered. That's right. Led basically they act in cells. So think of them as like a secret underground group that protects humanity by following Mythos wherever it is and trying to subdue it and capture it and studying it. They've known about it for a long time, but. Yeah, we'll see. But they get into all the nasty stuff and find all the nice rich treasures.
And they've decided to raid a poor, innocent, defenseless fishing village.
Correct.
That's wrong.
Correct.
That's just wrong on so many levels.
You just covered in Mythos. Just coated in it.
Oh dear.
So we're gonna talk about these two factions and do a little bit of comparison. We're not, if we come up with any sort of ideas on how to use them and things like that, I'll mention them if I get inspired with what you come up with.
I'm going to walk up and smash.
Well, there's that. So we want to start. We'll start with the leaders for both.
Yeah,
of them.
we do
start
our
with
leaders.
Yours, or do you want to do mine?
I've got the Dunsmouth Witch. That's her there.
It's such a great.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
that's her, isn't it? Yep, that's
got this like fishing net. There's little crabs and stuff. It's so good.
She's got a fishing net as a cloak sort of thing. So she's tainted, she's a leader, and she's a symbiote, which is a cool little extra bit that I'm sure will come into somewhere.
Maybe not.
She's got a move of 4, charge range is 6, combat defense is 8, range defense is 6, arcane defense of 8,
still good.
Sanity, still good. Sanity of 8, which is pretty good.
That's nice.
She's already lost her mind. She doesn't need to worry about it. Generates 3 myth per turn and has 22 wounds.
I mean, for a leader, that's your leader, so you'd want it to be fairly
25 points as well. So you know, doesn't have a madness threshold number there. So she's got a thing somewhere there that'll flip her over, I'm sure. She's carrying a knife and lime dust. The knife is base contact. You're adding 8 and causing bleed if you hit with criticals and stuff. Mythos. The lime dust is a 4-inch range, adding 9 to hit and blinding.
Oh, she's got a little like.
Just it's only 4 inches, but it can help in a pinch.
Yeah.
Grasp of the Deep is her arcane thing. It's a +10. +10 arcane out to 10 inches and causes fatigue.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one to cause. I like that.
And she can do, as a leader, she could do 3 attacks and potentially fatigue. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she could do her arcane attack to 10 inches 3 times with a +10, which is pretty cool. So once per game, she can use 2 Mythos to play Touch of the Hidden One. So you push all models directly away from this model until they are 6 inches away. If a model moved in this way hits terrain, it stops moving and suffers 2 wounds. Otherwise, it suffers 1 wound. So you get pushed 6 inches away and suffer a wound.
Wow.
If you hit something, you suffer 2. Click Clack and the Angler, which are 2 of my other characters, may move up to their charge distance towards the Dunsmith Witch and do not provoke disengaging strikes during this movement. So she's going, get away from me, my pets, come here.
And they're like, we're coming, Mum.
Which is pretty cool. But she can only do that once per game, and it costs 2 myth to do. So there you go. But she doesn't have a madness stat, so we're cool. She can also do fog for 1 myth. Unless already in hard cover, models within 8 inches of this model are considered to be in soft cover until the end of the turn.
Wow.
So she generates an 8-inch bubble of soft cover for...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, models.
Just 1 less damage, thanks.
That's it, yeah. That's a +1 to people to do stuff.
That's great.
She's a leader. She activates, gets 1 extra action point. Tangled netting. Enemy models engaged with this model have -1 to any combat attack and to their combat defense. Mental strain. During its activation, this model must spend 1 myth for each additional arcane attack after the first.
Oh, okay. What
So
was that? I
she's
suppose?
generating 3, so technically she could spend her own myth to throw 3 arcane grasp of the deep.
So spend
out.
2 and go for 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
And loss of a child. Oh, that's her flip. Okay, so if Click Clack or the Angler are killed, mark the enemy model that caused the killing blow and flip this card immediately. So if you kill her pets, she gets angry.
Wow.
I don't think any of her stats change. 8-6. Nope, her stats don't change, but she loses all of her attacks and gains a new one.
Oh.
It's a +11 arcane called A Mother's Rage. It gets out to 10 inches and causes blind.
A blind is nice too, actually.
+11 out to 10 inches and causing blind. That's pretty good. She still gets her 1 AP for being a leader. She's still got Tangled Netting, and she's got a Mother's Rage ability. When this model is activated, if it's within range and line of sight of the marked enemy model, it must use all of its actions to make this attack against the target model until it is dead. When the marked model is killed, you can flip this card immediately. So she goes back to her happy side.
Right.
So if you kill the Angler, she goes, flips over, and starts shooting an arcane bolt at you until you die, and then she flips back. And then if you kill Click Clack, she flips back again.
She goes,
and once she's killed you, she flips back again.
Oh,
That's cool.
But each time you flip, you can take off counters and stuff like that. Which the sooner you get it off the altered side, the better.
Yeah, because she's still making sanity checks every turn she's on this one. So you can't you can't flip through madness here, but you can still get some really bad stuff happening on this side.
Correct.
So you need to be careful about what you're doing. I would make sure you're within range of whoever killed them and just annihilate them as quickly as you can.
Yeah. You even using other models to try and bring it down just to free her up.
Yeah,
That
just to
might
get her
be
to flip back again.
Yeah, because I wouldn't feel I mean, she kicks ass on that side, but I wouldn't.
You
want to leave her there.
Build up too much madness on this side, make your sanity roll at the start of the turn, and she just dies.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, she's tainted, so I think they just dissipate or whatever. They get sucked into the void and eaten.
But she doesn't have to pay the extra myth when she's flipped. She doesn't have mental strain. So she can just go berserk.
She goes
nothing
nuts.
to worry about. So that's...
So while it's within range of the marked enemy model, it uses all of its actions to make this attack against the target model until it's dead. So she just does 3 actions, Arcane Bolt. As long as she's within 10 inches of the model that killed one of them, she will just fire that off 3 times.
Just keep doing it, yeah.
If she's not within range of them, I would say she'd move towards them.
Oh, she would, yeah, she'd have to. Because I know if you fail to do the ranged attack, they can, or an arcane attack, they can move. They get a little shuffle.
Yeah.
So they might get behind cover or whatever, but, oh, man.
So, yeah, I'd be very sure of yourself before you bring one of them down, because she will hurt you.
She will hurt you. Well, let's have a look. We'll go through all of them, that's fine. Go through all of yours, and we can talk all of the prizes.
You sure?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
easier. It's easier just to focus on one, I think. So
All right,
we
well,
mentioned the Angler.
We've got the Angler. So this fella here is the Angler. Let's put the witch back. That's the Angler.
So they're one of her children, as she refers to them.
Yeah, it's like It's like an anglerfish brought up and made all manky and stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a myth and it's familiar. So there you go.
I did see it before. I thought I knew it.
But could you pick it up out of a lineup though? I mean, it'd be hard.
Oh, you would.
So he's got a 7 move and a 9 charge.
That's fast.
Which is pretty damn
That's
good.
fast.
Pretty damn good.
Wow.
6 combat defense. 6 across the board for defense, actually. So combat ranged and arcane are all 6.
Okay.
He's got a 5 sanity and only generates 1 myth. So he's a bit of a numpty, but I mean, it's an anglerfish turned into a monstrosity, so it's not going to be doing much.
It's progressed well compared to others.
Yeah, well,
it's still, yes.
It survived coming up to this level. It's got 12 wounds and costs 13 points. He's got a 2 for his madness threshold. And he's on a size 2 base. So these are all on size 1 bases. This is a size 2 base. Yeah. His only attack is claws. So it's a +8 base-to-base combat attack that causes blind. So +8 isn't too bad. And it's causing blind, which is pretty cool.
But he's got a 9-inch charge.
He's got a 9-inch charge with a +8 combat attack. So
and 3d6 on a charge. Okay.
Yeah. 3d6 +8. Yeah. Until the start of this model, don't look at the light. Is a 1 myth ability. Until the start of this model's next activation, enemy models charging this model must pass an arcane defense test or lose their charging bonus. So you're staring at the anglerfish light instead of at where he is, right?
Oh, that could be good.
Yeah. He's a familiar for the Dunsmith Witch. So if the Dunsmith Witch is within 8 inches and line of sight of this model, she can channel arcane attacks through this model.
Oh.
This model becomes the point of origin of the attack, but the Dunsmith Witch's arcane attack is used. This effect may only be used once per activation. So you can only throw 1 arcane bolt through, but she's got that grasp of the deep.
Yeah, which is adds 10 or something.
Which is a +10 10-inch, so you can move him 8 inches forward and then get 10 inches from him.
Yes.
Which is 18 inches, which is half the 36.
Big, yeah.
That's half the board.
Half the board if you set it up right. But it's good because he can sort of go a little bit further out if need be.
Yeah.
And you can use, still support him. That's great.
It's very cool. So he's also an essence stealer. So this model heals 3 wounds if it inflicts 3 or more wounds to another model. Cannot take it above its starting value, but he only starts with 12. So if he starts copping a few little wounds and bits and pieces, he can charge in and at least inflict 3 wounds. He can heal 3 wounds.
You can just go after a little numpty model and just devour it and just heal yourself.
Charge in and smash it.
Any model that can heal, and he just heals by doing damage. You just steamroll him through stuff.
His only problem is he doesn't have much to start with, so he really needs to do that as soon as he starts taking damage. He's got to get in there and start causing wounds, otherwise he's going to die.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's only got 2 for his madness thing, so once he passes over and flips, he stays pretty much the same. So his stats are all the same, everything stays the same. He's still got his claw attack, and it still does the same stuff, but he's got... he's still a familiar, so you can still use him for line of sight within 8 inches. But he's got Mother's Call instead of the Essence Stealer. So he loses his ability to heal, which sucks.
Okay.
But there you go. So Mother's Call, if this model ends its activation more than 8 inches from the Dunsmith Witch, it gains 1 madness.
Whoa. Okay.
So if he flips, he's got to stay near Mum, otherwise he's
just going to slowly just disappear.
Yeah. And he's a myth, so I think they actually do, just disappear.
They just disappear.
So that could be bad.
He's pretty good. 13 points, and he can heal and high movement. Yeah, I like him. He's good.
That's not bad. Nice little skirmishy, hit them from the side sort of dude.
Yeah.
They're watching the click-clack going, and this guy's...
He goes, oh! That's it.
Takes a bite out of somebody. Call him the cookie cutter shark.
Who's next?
Who's next? So we have the Fisherman King.
Fisherman King.
The gentleman with the octopus on his back.
Didn't he make a whole bunch of fish sticks and stuff? Frozen fish sticks? Oh,
No, not quite the guy you were thinking about.
Not quite the guy.
No, not quite that one. So he is tainted, he's a symbiote, and he's a follower. So he's a symbiote as well as she is. So he's probably got some sort of thing happening.
He's got an octopus.
That's his symbiote, I guess.
Stuck to his body. It makes him...
It's interesting.
Right.
So his move is 4 and he's got a 7 charge range, which is pretty cool.
That's all right, yes.
Combat defense of 8, range defense of 6, and arcane defense of 7.
Okay, that's all right.
Sanity's only 6, so...
he needs a 7 to pass.
Yeah, he's not too bad, but he's already on the edge there, basically. But he doesn't have a madness threshold, so...
Oh, that's helpful then. Yeah,
that works. Okay. He's generating 2 myth per turn, which is one more than the angler, but one less than the witch. And he's got 18 wounds.
Okay.
17 points on...
Okay, 17 points, that's all right.
Okay, so 2 attacks here. He's got a base contact one called the Tentacle Blade. It's a +9 base contact causing bleed, which is pretty cool.
I can see the tentacle.
Yeah, it's like tentacly blade thing. And he's got a harpoon as well, which is a 10-inch +7 ranged attack causing bleed.
Multiple bleed,
Multiple bleed.
That's good.
Yeah. Twin Souls is a 1 myth ability. At the start of this model's activation, you may pay 1 myth to flip this card.
Oh.
There'll be a reason to do that on the other side. We'll get to that in a minute. There's always a reason to flip it. Cephalopod Inc. Enemy models charging this model must pass a ranged defense test or suffer blind and lose their charging bonus. So the octopus on his shoulder just goes... Yeah. That's supposed to be squid. But it all works. I mean, octopus still do it. So
that's 2 models that can do that. That's...
The angler's one was 1 myth, and you have to make an arcane defense test.
Yeah.
This one's a range defense test, or you get blind and lose your charging bonus. So,
that's even worse.
So the ink actually hits you in the eyes. So yeah, he's sure-footed, so it ignores difficult terrain when moving, which is cool. And tangling tentacles. Enemy models wishing to disengage from this model suffer a -1 combat defense to disengaging strikes from this model.
Oh my gosh!
So he can tentacle blade you, and you've got -1 to defense.
And it's hard to get away from him. Harder to get away from him.
Yeah. Because if that -1 means that he passes his attack, then you don't get to move.
You don't get to go anywhere. Yeah. It can hold you up easier.
All right, let's see why we're flipping this. Why are we flipping this? 4, 7, 8, 6, 7. His combat defense goes down by 2 points. But his range defense goes up by 2 points.
Nice.
Okay. So instead of 4, 7, 8, 6, 7, he's 4, 7, 6, 8, 7.
Okay. That's all right.
Myth, wounds, all the rest of that stays the same. His tentacle blade stays the same. His harpoon stays the same. He's still got the Twin Souls ability. So at the start of the model's activation, you can pay 1 myth to flip the card. So you can just flip straight back again if you want to. But he's also got Precision Shot. For 1 myth, this model gains +1 to ranged attacks until the end of this activation. So your harpoon goes from a 9 to a 10. That's not bad. At 10 inches causing bleed, that's pretty good. Whaler. If it did not flip this turn, this model may re-roll all dice for its first ranged attack it makes during its activation. And it's still got sure-footed, so ignores difficult terrain.
Re-rolling with bonuses.
So you have to spend your 1 myth here and flip, right? And then the next turn, Whaler kicks in and you can re-roll your first range attack.
Yeah.
And if you spend another myth, you get to add +1 to that ranged attack. So you're making a +10, 10-inch re-rolled range attack with bleed. That's pretty cool. And then you just pay another myth and flip back again.
Oh, man. But would you, it could be worth it. Could be worth the risk for 1 round to be on the altered side just to get those benefits if they're coming in at you and then just switch around.
It's that whole 1 turn, because at the start of your turn you have to make the test.
Yeah.
You have to do the test. So, but there's nothing there that's generating madness. right? So you haven't got anything here that's generating madness.
No.
You have to make your sanity roll, and when you use a myth, and that might give you madness, which would suck for the next turn. But there's nothing there that's just automatically giving you madness.
But that's another thing. You flip, they're taken off.
So that's what I mean. If you flip him over, take one risk on one turn of sanity, get your whaler and your precision shot in, and then just flip back, and any madness you've generated disappears. That's pretty cool.
So interesting. I think it's meant to represent either one or the other, either the symbiote fighting the way it's used to, or him.
Yeah,
it's between the two.
He was probably a whaler back in the day, so yeah. It's I mean, you lose a couple of the octopus abilities, so the ink and the tentacles go away when you flip. So this is him.
Yeah,
he's gone bananas because of this thing on his back.
Yeah,
and it's doing most of the driving, but every now and then it lets him take over just to shoot stuff
at range,
like harpoon things. That's cool.
Maybe they get along. Maybe they really like it. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know. Octopus are pretty alien. All right.
Who's next?
So this is Molly. Molly Malone. I assume it's Molly Malone. It just says Molly.
Molly Malone.
So she's tainted. She's a symbiote as well, and she's a follower. 4 move, 6 charge, and 7s across the board for defense. She's got a 6 for her sanity, which sucks, but there you go. Generates 2 myth and has 18 wounds. Now she actually has a madness threshold. Hello, buddy.
Hello, doggy.
She has a madness threshold of 2. Hello. 16 points, standard base, obviously. She's got a knife, which is a +8 base contact attack with bleed. And Siren Song, which is a +9 arcane out to 10 inches that causes fatigue.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bleed floating around. I'm going to enjoy this.
You got to stack them up.
Yeah. She's got a Wailing Deep ability, which is a 1 myth ability. When making Siren Song attacks this activation, this model may choose to hit all models within 3 inches of the target for half the wounds inflicted.
So they'll roll a defense against it. But you only do half the damage if you... Or is it auto damage?
I think it's auto damage. Yeah.
Choose to hit all the models within...
For half the wounds inflicted. So you shoot someone, you inflict, say, 6 wounds, and then you go, I'm paying 1 myth and making my sanity test, and then the whole thing just explodes out and hits everybody within 3 inches for 3 wounds, which is nasty. Half the 6.
That's nasty.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, nasty, man.
And that's a +9 out to 10 inches. With a 3-inch burst if you're willing to take the sanity problems.
Well, you would. You'd try it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a crack.
There's only 2, though, so...
So, Fresh Produce. At the start of its activation, this model heals 1 wound from itself or a friendly model within 4 inches. This cannot take it above its starting value. Right. So she's dishing out apples and junk to people and healing them up.
1 wound, but still 1...
1 wound is 1 wound you didn't have before.
True.
She's a siren, so enemy models targeting this model suffer -1 to any ranged or arcane attacks.
Nice.
Mental strain. During its activation, this model must spend 1 myth for each additional arcane attack after the first. So if she wants to do a Siren Song twice, she has to spend a myth to do it. And then Flailing Death. So models in base contact with this model at the end of their activation must pass a combat defense test or suffer 3 wounds.
Wow. There you go.
That'll be the tentacles.
I know, with all the hooks and everything.
With all the bits and pieces along them.
Yeah.
So she's got her 2 madness threshold, and if she fails, she flips. I think... Yeah, all her stats are the same. Her knife is still the same. And her Siren Song is still the same, but she loses a lot of the abilities. So the Fresh Produce and the Siren have gone. Mental Strain and Flailing Death are still there, but she picks up Arcane Addiction. So if she doesn't make an arcane attack during their activation, she suffers a wound at the end.
Okay.
So she has to do a siren song at least once every turn, otherwise she gets a wound.
You probably want to do it anyway, because it's pretty good.
While she's on this side, she's going to be having trouble, so you may as well get the damage in.
Yeah, true.
And fears her wrath. This model suffers -1 to arcane attacks when within 6 inches of the Dunsmith Witch.
Oh.
So when she's on her flipped side, she wants to be at least 6 inches away from the witch.
Otherwise, she doesn't want to be within.
damage.
Yeah,
No,
she wants to be outside.
She's scared of her, so she gets a -1 when because she's looking over her shoulder, going, "It's okay, I'm doing it right. Trust me."
Yeah.
She's cool. I like
That's an
Molly.
interesting character. I really like that.
She's cool.
Wow.
I mean, the others are like horrors and monstrosities and things, but she's just a chick with octopus bits.
I don't know. That could be horrible in its own way.
It could be, yeah. But if you want horrible, here's your boy.
Whoa.
This is Click Clack.
Oh.
Click Clack is back in black.
Yo.
Jack. Okay, so he's got a 6 move and an 8 charge, which isn't too bad on something that
big base too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
4-point base, so huge. Combat defense is 8, range defense and arcane defense is 7. Sanity is 7, generating 2 myth, and 25 wounds. 29 points. He's more expensive than the witch. Yeah.
29 points.
So I'm generating 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 myth per turn.
Oh, you can burn that pretty quick, I'd imagine.
He's only got the 1 attack. He doesn't have a madness threshold, by the way.
Yeah. I've been around. I've seen a lot, he says.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm a long-lived crustacean.
He's just a chill dude and takes it all in his stride. He has huge claws, though, which is his only combat attack. So
what else do you need?
It's a +10 base contact causing fatigue. Which, yeah, if you're bouncing around trying to get out of the way. Yeah. Hardened Shell is a 1 myth ability. Model suffers 1 less wound from attacks this turn.
So there you go. Whatever.
I mean,
yeah, but if you start getting surrounded,
yeah, well,
he multiple attacks.
He doesn't have a madness threshold either, so
yeah,
you may as well use it if you've got it left over. He's an abomination, so the model causes fear. Madness is gained regardless of whether you pass or fail your fear test.
Yes.
If passed, you can act normally.
Yeah, but you'll always gain a madness.
You always gain a madness if you try to charge him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if he charges
you, you've got, yeah.
You gain a madness.
Oh.
He's sure-footed, ignores difficult terrain when moving. He's got barnacles on him, so models charging or charged by this model suffer 1 wound. Oh. So the
impact? Yes.
Yeah, when he impacts you, he scrapes you along the barnacles there. He's got crab walk, so this model may make move actions while engaged as long as it remains in base contact with all engaged enemy models. It is also considered to be base size 2 when determining the height of the model for line of sight purposes. That's pretty good.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
You can use cover better.
Yeah. And then protect the mother. So if the Dunsmith Witch suffers 5 or more wounds from any single attack, you immediately flip the card.
Oh, Mum!
And then presumably he runs to Mum. 68877, 68877, 7225. All his stats stay the same. His claws stay the same, but he loses his hardened shell. He's still an abomination. He's still sure-footed. He's still got his barnacles. He still crab walks. So the only thing that really changes is he loses that hardening his shell ability, and he picks up Protect the Mother. When this model flips to this side, mark the model that wounded the Dunsmith Witch. Click Clack gains +2 to combat attacks while targeting the marked model. He does not provoke disengaging strikes when targeted by any enemy model except the marked model. If the marked model is slain, immediately flip this card.
So he gets so angry that he'll just leave if he wants to anyone he's engaged with, and they can't do anything to stop him.
They don't get to do anything to stop him.
He just
he makes straight for them.
Little burst of speed. Crazy crab.
Instead of the normal 10, he then gets a 12.
Oh,
plus 12 on his ability until he kills it.
Yeah, because it's 10 plus the 2. Yeah, and then he can Mythos it up if he wants. He can do Mighty Blow which will add, what's his base size again?
It's 4.
4, so that's another 5 damage.
That's 5 points, so you're doing a 12 plus the 5 if you Mighty Blow for both actions.
Base 16, if you could Mythos it up, so there's base 18. And you could get 30 on a... Oh, yeah.
So, don't damage the witch, because he coming for you.
Or do it from like the other end of the board. If you can.
Make him
Use
really
familiars and stuff too.
Yeah, make him really, really run to get to you, because otherwise he's gonna... If you're within a turn or two of him, then he's coming at you. He's not mucking around. He's not mucking around.
Oh, he's horrible.
Mm. No.
Horribly
he's
good.
Cute.
Yeah, of course.
He's gorgeous.
He is.
Hello, little fella.
Yeah. On my tank. Got any plankton?
Got any dead bodies? I mean, plankton.
I'm cutting down.
Oh, dear.
So there we go. So that is the hidden ones.
The hidden ones.
And they have an interesting sort of synergy thing going on. It definitely fits the theme. They're very sort of octopus and horrible
deep sea
scary
things.
Deep sea. Yep.
And with the witch and the pets, that's a cool little interaction there. I think that could be amusing. You kill one of them, she's coming for you. If you hurt her, he's coming for you.
If you like painting like slimy creatures and things like that, there's plenty there.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Did you say it was George that did?
George has painted these.
These are really looking like
they're nice.
There's brick on one side and like mud and stuff on the other side, and it looks really good.
I love his work. Yeah, it's really good. All right, so we've had a look at the hidden ones. Let's now have a look at who I chose. The Priory.
The Priory, specifically designed to hunt down abominations like me.
So this is a box set for it. We've had them... You just buy this and that's got all these models in there. Priory is an ancient institution with members operating around the globe. These teams stand as the last line of defence against the encroaching darkness. The Lazarus Cell, which is Professor Zachary Lazarus, which we'll get to. He's risked life, limb and sanity fighting in the shadows against those forces that would bring an end to the world.
Oh, what a buzzkill.
That's what all the old ones are saying. What a buzzkill. Come on.
They're saying...
So this is the Priory. They are, a long-standing order. And they've... the individual team members have quite some interesting skills, and there's some synergies there, which you sort of expect because you're going to want someone who has certain skills and can still work together as a team.
Yeah.
But they have their little personality quirks and things like that going on. Some people get along, others don't, depending on which side they're on and stuff like that. So... But let's start with the leader. So Professor Zachary Lazarus, all right? Mortal, leader, and professor. Mortal, obviously, for which table he's going to roll on.
Tables, yep.
Leader, which, of course, it says under his skills, +1 action point. And professor, which is just another keyword for something else. All right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Move 4, charge of 6. Pretty average for a human. Combat defense 6. Range defense 7. Arcane defense of 9.
Ooh.
9. Which I like.
That's good.
Sanity 7. He generates 3 myth, which is pretty good. He has 20 wounds for 22 points. So 22-point leader.
Not bad.
He has a close combat attack, a rapier cane, which adds 9, which causes bleed. Thank you, Tarron. And he has an arcane attack, Revenge of Thoth, which is 10-inch range, adding 10, and causes burn as an option. He has 3 myth abilities.
Yeah, I was just
really good.
Seeing that and thinking, what the hell?
So the first one is Embrace the Light, which is a 2-point, and that's a once a game. And what he does is, doesn't matter where, like all of his allies, it doesn't matter where they are on the board, I can remove the conditions from them, anyone, all of them, and for each one that I take, he heals 1 wound, up to his max.
Wow. Okay.
So if you're getting absolutely hammered and you've got burn and bleed and
I was going to say bleed and blind and fatigue,
and you've got all of those things on that, because we've had games where we had like 3 or 4 conditions on one character,
multiple conditions on one character.
So if things are going really bad for you, boom, and he can heal himself.
Spend the 2 myths, suck them all up, and heal up with them.
So
that's pretty cool.
That's some interesting abilities that he's learnt from studying Myth. The next one is Arcane Heal, which is only a 1 point. Until the end of the turn, enemy models targeting this model with arcane abilities and attacks gain 1 madness per action.
Holy crap! Okay, I'm staying away from him.
So he's really mastered this Mythos stuff. He's obviously been studying it for a while, and he has command of 1. So this model may spend 1 myth to choose an enemy model as a new target of singular purpose, which is an ability for Maharal, which is this big guy here that I'm going to get to. All right, so he actually can command them to go. If he gets a marked target, he gets some benefits against them.
Okay.
And he only really goes after the marked target. He's sort of basic.
So he spends a myth to mark a new target.
To mark a new target, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He's a leader, so he's got 3 action points. Arcane Warding. Friendly models within 6 inches suffer 1 less wound from abilities and arcane attacks to a minimum of 1.
Ooh.
So he's pretty good to be around if there's spells being chucked around, which can help you.
There will be.
Yeah. This one I like. Fencer. All right. So this model rolls 3d6 for combat defense against enemy combat attacks and discards the lowest result.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So his combat defense is only 6. For a leader, seems just a little on the low side.
But he's rolling 3 and discarding the lowest. Yeah.
And he can use Mythos and all that sort of thing. And
that's actually pretty good.
so if he charges...
Well, that's for combat defense.
Yeah. So he can do it, like anyone who charges can get the extra dice, but on defense he's
getting basically a simpler version of charge for his defense.
For defense,
he's just going to discard the lowest. That's cool.
But he does have mental strain like that.
They're similar, yeah.
Yeah. So you get your first arcane, that's not a problem. But if you want to do any after that, you have to spend 1 myth for each additional one, which. That's okay for what he's got, because otherwise, you would. He'd sit back and he'd just go shoot. It'd be boring as hell.
Yeah.
You'd want him to use his other abilities. Now, he has 4 for his madness. So he does have a rating, which I guess kind of makes sense.
Getting a little jealous, because both of mine that have them have 2.
Have 2, but he's the leader. So
yeah.
So once he flips over, all right, he has no charge. He cannot charge.
When he's flipped, he can't charge.
Nope.
Okay.
Everything else is the same there by the looks of it. 10, 10, 10, 12. So the range of the Revenge of Thoth goes out to 12 inches. Adds another 2 inches, but other than that. He loses the chance to embrace the light, which is the healing up from conditions, and the Arcane Heal.
Okay.
But he can still command him if he needs to.
Cool.
Still has leader. He has 2 new things. Purify the World. If able, this model must cast Revenge of Thoth at the closest enemy model as its first action each time it activates, if it's able.
Okay. Yep.
But you probably want to do that anyway.
And he's got the extra range to do it now.
Yeah, that's right. But when he's first flipped over, when this model flips to this side, all models within 8 inches, including this model, have to pass an arcane defense test or you suffer 4 wounds.
Holy crap, okay.
Yeah, he reaches his limit and the power just... boom. So he goes from a nice healer and protector to, oh my god.
Fireball on legs.
Bit of Dragon Ball Z actually there.
Nice.
So it's interesting. He's got a lot of abilities and, he can help others around him. But when he flips, you don't want to be near him.
No.
8 inches, but that's about the length for a lot of the other abilities, it would seem. So,
I'll be interested to see the big guy's card now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
We'll get to him in a minute. But there is this guy here.
Technically a familiar for
He
him.
is a familiar, yeah. So this is Zeus, the professor's cat, but he's a lynx cat. He's a bigger...
Yeah.
It's like a...
kind of a bobcat.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
If you're American.
So mortal, animal, and familiar. All right. Move 6, charge 9. So he's got the same speed as your guy over there, which is what you want. Combat, range, and arcane defense is all the same at 6. He has 5 sanity. He's only 10 points.
He's only a cat.
Good. Yeah. 2. He generates 2 myth, which is interesting. And he's got 12 wounds. So he's light for points, but that's okay.
So he's a cat. He's got low sanity, but he hasn't got a madness threshold because they're already bonkers anyway.
That's right. He's a cat.
He's a cat.
He's a cat. He only does combat attacks. He has no ranged attack. It's claws. You're adding 7 and does blind, which is quite handy. Because he wants to get away. That's what you want to do. Twin Souls. He does have a myth ability. So at the start of this model's activation, you can pay 1 myth to flip the card.
Ooh.
So if you want some options...
You can flip.
While he's on this side, he acts as a familiar. for Professor. All right.
So 8 inches, line of sight, and you can shoot your stuff through him.
That's it.
Cool.
Yep, exactly what we talked about before.
Yeah, that was the angler, I think it was. Yeah, the angler.
So acrobatic. He ignores difficult terrain, obstacles up to 2 inches in height, and may re-roll combat attack tests immediately following a charge that includes a jump.
Ooh.
So jump across or jump down. If falling, can make a combat defense test to avoid suffering wounds altogether, which is nice. He's very agile.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
if you can re-roll your combat dice on a charge where you jump,
yeah,
so you get onto
you
like
really want him to be up
platforms
onto platforms and then running down
and that's
like
it.
jump down, run over, and bang.
and
That's
maximise
cool.
it. So the model also ignores disengaging strikes. He's got cat reflexes. That's nice. He can just get out wherever he needs to get out.
Yeah.
And on this side, he's got animal, so he can't repurpose Maharal.
So he's not allowed to do anything with this film.
No.
He can't interact with him.
No, he can't do anything.
Okay.
I think it's like a mental command thing. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I like I say, I'm interested to see what his thing says, because if all of these have to be alive for him to do anything, then
that could be hey.
that's an out as far as I'm concerned.
So when we flip him over, his stats go up.
Ooh.
His combat defense and arcane defense go up to 7, but his range defense stays at 6.
Okay.
His claws go up by 1 to 8 damage. He still has twin souls, so at the start of this model's activation, I can pay it to flip him back, which could be good because he's not a familiar on the flip side.
No.
Nor does he have cat reflexes, and he's not animal anymore, so he can give commands to him.
Ah.
That's interesting. And he also gains any non-conditioned wounds suffered by this model is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. He gets tough.
Yeah.
And
he's still acrobatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That puts him over to like, I can talk to you now.
Yeah,
Go kill
yeah.
that thing, and then you flip back before you go insane.
So well, that's it. So you don't get flipped and taken off the table. So there is that risk. So I flip him. He might be the only one that's close enough to do anything.
Left,
that's
then
it.
you can just sort of like command that dude and then flip back.
But he's very cool. So he can flip with options. He's fast. He's agile. He's familiar. So the professor can get use out of him.
Those firebolt things can go out through the cat's eye.
Yeah, basically.
That's very cool. I like him.
So let's have a look at some of the other members that he's found. So we're going to go Abigail Halsey. So Abigail's the one that we were looking at as the example through the book and everything. So
you should all be familiar. Please write your answers in the question.
That's it. So we have had a look, but for those of you who haven't seen those, and you're just seeing this for the first time. Okay, mortal, archaeologist, and a follower. Okay, movement 4, charge of 7, combat defense and arcane defense of 7, range defense of 6. 6 sanity, 2 myth, 15 wounds, 15 points on a one size base. She's a person.
Yeah.
She carries a pick in combat, which causes bleed, and you add 8. And she has the same attack as the Professor, the Revenge of Thoth. It's only 9 and 8 inches.
Yeah.
So same thing, not as much range. It's like an inner sphere version of it versus Cone. That's what it is. She has
rub it in.
She has 1 myth. It's research. So when this model activates for 1 myth, it may spend 1 myth to gain the ability to re-roll all the dice rolled for 1 attack or test this turn. Nice. If she's within 12 inches of a friendly model, she gains +1 to her sanity tests, which is nice. Reassuring presence, they call it. So if she's round her friends and she can
friendly models within 12.
Within 12.
Gain +1 to her sanity.
Friendly models. Sorry.
Yeah, not her, everybody else. Yeah, that's good.
That's better. Yeah.
That's even better.
Okay. And apprentice gains +1 to arcane attacks if she's within 8 of the professor.
There you go. So hers goes up to a 10 as well.
Yeah. And mental strain.
So she can't just fire fireballs off over and over again. Yeah. No.
So she has a 3 limit for madness. When she flips, her stats stay the same.
I think everything there stays the same. Yeah.
So she loses all of her myth. She loses her myth ability. She still keeps mental strain, but she's got 3 things. So when she flips, you place with anywhere within 2d6 inches, and you roll that immediately as soon as she flips. And you can place it in base-to-base contact with an enemy. You don't have to, but if you do, 2 wounds they suffer.
So she really flips out.
Literally just, So you flip, roll 2d6, put her wherever place her, and you can do 2 damage. So if someone's hiding and they're just on their last leg, she can just, which is pretty handy. She's got Father Warned Me. So this model suffers -1 to arcane attacks when within 8 inches of Professor Zachary Lazarus. So it goes opposite. When she flips, she wants to keep away from him. Same sort of
her
thing.
dad went, no, don't go join that.
That's right.
He'll drive you insane. And when she goes insane, she goes, oh, yeah, he was right. Oh, shit.
But she does have to take a sanity test every time this model wishes to use myth. If it fails, discard the myth and do not gain the effect.
Ooh.
That's nasty. That's nasty.
So you want to be rolling your criticals for that burn and bleed and stuff, because if you're spending myth, you might have it fail.
That's right, and you don't want to be doing all that side. So
and,
bit of a loss, but still.
Yeah, that means that your mental strain, if you try and do multiple Revenge of Thoth, if you fail your test, then it won't go off.
No. She essentially becomes a combat person.
She just goes Burko with the pick.
Yeah, you'll have to, because otherwise the myth will just take her.
Yeah. So she just goes bananas with her pick.
But she's alright. I mean, 15 points, 15 wounds. She's got some little abilities and things like that. It's just some cool stuff. You just got to be careful what's happening with around.
Yeah, and again, that 3 madness threshold isn't that bad.
No.
I mean, my guys have only got 2, the ones that got them.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's pretty good.
So the next one is Kitty Page. So Kitty Page is a bit of a mechanic, a fixer.
The lass with the gun. Right?
Yeah. She looks after all their guns and equipment and things like that, and also pays a bit more attention to this guy too. After she's figured some stuff out, we'll get to that. So Kitty Page, mortal mechanic follower. All right, same sort of basic stats. Yeah, so we got a 6 combat defense, arcane defense, and a 7 for range defense. Move of 4, charge of 7. Probably have this up on the screen. I don't want to reading it out. We're just going to put them up on the screen. Sorry about that. We're just dragging them on. But she basically causes bleed on her ranged attack, because she uses a nail gun at ranged and in close combat. She can paralyze you in close combat with it, so that's pretty good.
Which is really good.
Yeah. So the range is 6 inches. So she is a close combat sort of person. To help with that, she has one Mythos sprint. So for 1, she can add +2 to her movement and charge, which is quite nice.
Which is damn good. For a 4/7, it becomes a 6/9. So
there were a lot of times when I was playing against you where just an extra 2 inches on a basic move 4 person would have been really helped. It's so weird, but just that 2 inches. It's so good.
You trying to get away, that's a 12 inches of move instead of 8.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah. So friendly models within 12 inches can re-roll all dice for their madness test they're required to take at the start of the phase.
Ooh,
she is the one you want. She's good. Nice. Solid as a rock, they call that. She's tough as nails, so her wounds suffered by this model are reduced by 1. That's pretty... A lot of the big things have those. That's good. And she can re-roll all dice for 1 test or attack once per turn if she has line of sight to the professor. Cool. So again, the leader has now... He's now had an interaction of some sort with the 3 characters that we've spoken to. He's really central.
He's recruited them and trained them up, so they've got their own things.
So she's got a 3 limit. She flips over. She keeps the nail gun. Stats basically stay the same. Combat defense goes to 7, and range defense drops to 6. Crippling indecision. Basically, she's lost everything else. She's just got this one ability. When it flips, it must take an immediate sanity test. If it's failed, it gains a fatigue condition. If it happens during the model's activation, it loses 1 action point and the condition does not clear until the end of her next activation.
Ooh.
That's nasty.
Ouch.
But otherwise, 13-point model with 15 wounds, short range combat-y stuff, but has some abilities on the active side.
And that's
good.
Paralysed in close combat is not something to be taken lightly either. No. That's really, really good.
Yeah. So that's an interesting character. You'd have to use her in the right situation.
You've got to be careful with it.
Yeah, she'll be good. All right.
You're going to have to keep everybody within certain distances of everybody else in order to use all of these cool synergies, aren't you?
I'm beginning to get a feel that they are a bit of a Death Star deployment, at least initially, and then when they start flipping, they tend to start to move
Back
out.
off.
So-
Yeah.
Now, Bertie Smythe, he's interesting. Now, this guy, he's like a soldier. He was a pilot in the war and things like that. So he's seen some stuff, but he's a man of action. Like, why?
He's a man with a flamethrower. He doesn't have to be anything else.
Action, flame is action.
Flame is action.
So he's a mortal, a pilot, which is his background, and a follower. All right. Charge 7, combat defense of 7, range defense of 8, which makes sense.
Nice.
And arcane defense of 6, although he's seen some stuff. Sanity 6. He only generates 1 myth because he didn't really believe in a lot of it until he saw it. 18 wounds for 16 points on a standard sized human base. All right. He has a knife that does 9 in combat, causes bleed, and a flamethrower, which is 9, surprise, surprise, does burn.
Yeah.
And he uses a template, which is about this long.
Which we went into. So, yeah, it comes out to about like there,
It's like,
I think. Yeah.
And he has one myth ability called Burn in Hell for 1. And the flamethrower ignores cover.
Which is cool.
So if you're behind hard cover, there's an extra 2 damage you can do to you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got 2 less to worry about to hit you, sort of thing. So, yeah. That's really cool. I like that.
But he does have the option to use it's a ranged weapon, but he can use this one in close combat. He automatically gains a point of madness when he fires it off. But that's kind of handy if he needs to do it.
I mean, using a flamethrower on someone at point blank range, I'm surprised he gets away with just 1 point of madness, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool, though.
He can re-roll sanity tests when testing for fear. Like I said, he's seen it all.
Oh, damn.
There is a story of him at the start of the rule book.
Oh, okay.
And I actually did a video where I read that story and things like that. It's him. He got back from the war and he meets a otherworldly thing, and one of the other primary members, I can't remember which one it was, may have been Kitty, that actually helped him and saved him, and that's how he joined. But it was really interesting because it talks about how it was before and all that sort of thing. But he's also got Frankly My Dear, this model may reroll all dice from one test or attack once per turn whilst it has line of sight to Abigail or Kitty Page.
Nice.
So again, a more synergy thing. Keep with line of sight, keep within 8 inches, 6 inches, things like that, make a ball.
So you got 2 there that are line of sight with people. You got one that's 12 inches and a couple that are 8 inches. You've got to keep your dudes in the right areas in the right ways.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
It
I
is
like
very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
So
they're operating as a cell.
3, and when he flips over, so he loses the flamethrower. He's just got the knife. Mission first becomes his new thing. This model does not provoke disengaging strikes while holding an objective.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
So he can just run away with the stuff.
That's it, yeah. Last man, this model may re-roll its results on the madness table.
Nice.
That's nice.
That could save your life.
Really good.
Especially if you just roll badly and you're not like picking up madness along the way. If you just roll badly, that's really good.
Yeah. But when he flips, it's got jumping at shadows. When this model flips to the side, it must make an immediate flamethrower attack against the closest other model within range. So that's friend or enemy, whoever's the nearest, if able. Roll 3d6 for this attack and inflict burn on the target regardless of the outcome. This attack ignores all modifiers. Flamethrower may not be used for the remainder of the game if it was no target.
Wow. So he just empties the tank.
He just goes, yep, that's it. I'm going to brr and just throw it down, whip out the knife and start going to town.
Loses his mind, empties the tank on the nearest thing and just starts hacking stuff.
Yep, that's the way.
Nice.
I don't want him on that side. He's much better on this side.
Don't put him on that side when he's anywhere near anybody.
Even if I don't get burnt, but it would be the risk, you know, if you get like 3 models and you can do burn on all of them, it would be worth the risk. And he's 3, so, you know, you could probably get away with it.
And it's 1 sanity test, so it's like, well, you could do it a couple of times and fail and still, like, you know, be okay, hopefully.
That's it.
That's cool. I like it.
So that's all the normal size characters, and then you've got one more, the big hitter. Each faction seems to have someone that stands out that's designed to be a little bit bigger and things like that. So this is Maharal. He's a clay golem, and they found the way to make them while they were searching through places. So they have one, and he's a myth and a golem. All right. Movement of 5 and a charge of 8. So that's good. Something a little bit faster. Combat range defense is 7. Arcane defense is 6. So range spells might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Sanity of 7, which is not too bad. Generates 2 myth, but he has 28 wounds. He's the big guy.
He's your big guy.
points,
Yeah.
right?
With a 3 base, right?
3
Yep,
base,
okay.
so Mighty Blow is adding 4 damage, which is pretty good. He has only a close range weapon attack, which is the nearest lamppost. It adds 9 and fatigue.
Fatigue, because you got hit over the head with
It's very tiring
half a ton of
when you're getting wailed on with a lamppost.
half a ton of cast iron.
I'm
and
tired
glass
just talking about it.
Oh, I feel so fatigued.
He does have a myth ability called Sandstorm for 1.
Yeah.
Unless already in hard cover, models within 8 inches of this model are considered to be in soft cover until the end of turn.
So he's got a
Similar
fog effect.
Yeah, which is really handy. That's really handy.
That's very cool.
So he has Abomination, so
Causes fear.
he causes fear, and he's immune to fear, and you'll always get a madness regardless of whether you charge or he charges, and
Whether you pass or fail or
whatever.
whatever it is.
Yep, you will get it. So that's pretty good. And Singular Purpose, which I was talking about at the start. So when you first activate the model, you pick an enemy model, and that one is marked.
Okay.
You get a +2 to combat attacks while targeting the marked model. It does not provoke disengaging strikes from any model except the marked model. If the marked model is slain, immediately flip this card. And I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so basically once he's taken out his target,
He flips.
yeah, unless he's like flips into someone else who's like full strength and they can finish him off or things like that.
But
That's probably what
you
you
give
wanna
him
do.
a target and then he's got an 11 to hit that target. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
And I mean, charge of 8, he'll probably get there eventually. You know, the table's only so big, so you can't
That's
really hide
it,
over
yeah.
there. But while he's on this side, he's got Sweeping Strike. So if this model inflicts at least 1 wound with a combat attack against during its activation, then it can perform another combat attack against another model in base contact. Just,
Wow.
it's for free.
There has to be another
There has to be another one. You can't attack the same one.
That's
But it's
nasty.
Like, yes, it is.
That's very nasty. Because one of the best ways to take people down in close combat is to gang up on them. Because you get your extra for each person that's in combat with you. So if he's doing that, then he's hitting 2 of you with that lamppost at once.
That's it.
That's not good.
So
when he flips?
So when he flips over, his movement and his charge drops to 0. And
Oh.
all of his other stats, his defense stats, they go to 10.
Holy
They
crap.
max out.
So he just rocks out.
He rocks out. Bonk. He literally rocks out. He stops.
He just stops,
He
turns to rock
shuts
and waits
down,
for a
yeah.
command.
So a repurpose is a myth of 1, but other friendly models use it. So other friendly models within 8 inches may take this action. So he doesn't do it, they do it. Choose an enemy model as a target for singular purpose, and then you flip the card.
Okay.
So not Kitty Cat unless he's on the other side.
Yeah, so Kitty Cat
anyone
has to
else.
flip in order to do it, but everybody else that's within 8
Within 8.
can do it.
Yeah. So
And he's got a thing-
He can do command, which is he doesn't even need line of sight. He just declares it.
He just goes,
Yeah, it's probably a mental thing. Yeah.
Crunking again.
So that's really handy. He's quite flexible for that.
Yeah.
But everyone else has to be within 8. So you might have to. He's the fastest, so you might want to risk getting him in there and doing it.
But it's especially if you're like nearly killing something. So you've got something down to 1 or 2 wounds and you've still got 1 or 2 other people there. You just go, well, command, flip to that dude. Right? And then somebody else finishes that guy off and he can go and take somebody else on without having to flip and muck around.
That's right.
That's
yeah,
cool.
that's the way
like
to do
that,
it.
yeah.
So while he's in his shutdown mode, all right, there's these little sand dust things going all around it. Okay. So until the card is flipped, any enemy model that starts or ends within 3 inches suffers -1 to move and charge until their activation ends, and they suffer a wound.
Wow.
So anyone just standing around him when it happens, whatever, they'll take damage.
Within 3.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, cool.
So he's marked as dormant on this side. He may not move or take any actions during his activation, and any conditions are removed when he flips to this side.
Okay.
All right. While in a dormant state, he's immune to all conditions.
Okay. So
You
you
can't-
can't shut him down and then go and beat him up. That's not going to work. Okay.
I mean, you can attack him the way he is now, but awakening. If Maharal is attacked, immediately flip this card and gain singular purpose, marking the attacker.
Oh, right, okay. There goes my plan. Then. I thought, oh, well, I'll just drop shut him down, put the Dunsmith Witch there and start arcane
And
bolting
just-
him
that's
until
it,
he
yeah.
dies.
Well, look, it might still work.
That's not going to work.
But
no.
he's-
He'll
first
turn on and
it's
come
10.
at me. Yeah. That won't work.
So he flips back and forward and things like that. But he's just a big guy that you can just command around and.
That's very cool. I like him.
Cool.
He's great.
Oh.
So, the big dudes in the Wildborn are very, very cool. But
they are.
He's one of the like funkiest looking ones that I like.
Yeah.
Not to diss on Click Clack there, but
no,
it's a big golem with a lamppost as a club.
It's like what you made at like school, but just monstrous and bigger and animated and follows your orders, and you can kill stuff with it.
Yeah. If you like made it slightly less human looking, I reckon he'd probably pass for one of the golems in Terry Pratchett. Actually, I reckon he would as he is.
They look like
take all this stuff off and take the lamppost out of his hands, and he'd be a Terry Pratchett golem. He's very cool.
But they're cool. It's an interesting faction, and I'm excited to give them a go to see just how the synergies and everything.
I was going to say you're going to really need to focus on your positioning, because you need line of sight from certain people, and you need within so many inches of people and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah,
it'll be a challenge, but I think it'll be a fun one.
But the terrain, so we make sure we've got lots of interesting terrain to fight over and hide and things like that to really bring that out.
Come and bash the village.
So that's it. So those are the two forces that we're looking at, and we're not sure what scenario we're going to do. We might make it as a surprise or something. Yeah. But we're going to go off, have a read and a study, see how we go, and then the next video hopefully will be the battle report.
Hopefully.
If not, it'll be something else good, so it doesn't matter. All right.
All good.
Thank you for sticking with us. See you next time.
Bye, guys.